Hey everyone, it's Rochel Marie Lawson, the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, and I am super excited about this particular Bold, Unstoppable Woman show because I've got three fabulous, extraordinary ladies, queens in the house with me, and we are going to be really engaging in some good conversation that is very appropriate for this day and age. So, let me just say, wherever you are, maybe good evening, good day, good morning, who knows where you're watching from. I want to welcome you to a truly special edition of the Bold Unstoppable Women's Show. Tonight, we stand on the brink of history as we dwell into the inspiring journey of the first African American, Indian American woman to run for president in the United States. Now, this episode is titled Breaking Barriers. A new chapter in American politics celebrates the courage, determination, and vision of a woman who is reshaping the future before our own very eyes. Not any other time in history has something like this ever happened. And so I want you to join us as we explore what her candidacy means for our nation, the barriers she's breaking, and the door she's opening for future generations of women. So, ladies, you ready? Because let's get this conversation started. First of all, I want you all to take a few moments or a quick 30 seconds to introduce yourself and let the viewing audience know what we got in the house. So I'll start with you, Dr. Patricia.
Hi, everybody. My name is gigantic. It's Dr. Patricia Timmerman Barbosa da Silva. So the doctor for short. I'm a psychotherapist and the author of the coming book, Why Are We Fighting? Where I talk about different communication strategies, which I think is really imperative because when we're talking about our candidates, communication is key, perception is key. So I would love to be able to jump into that conversation. I think that was like less than 30 seconds. So let's go.
Oh, you fabulous, girl. You go, girl. Angela, go, girl.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much. I am Angela Dunn Cartledge. I am a resilience coach with a podcast called Been There, Done That. And I love to talk to experts and regular people about their resilience journey and how we can better our mental health. And if nothing else, our politics in this country right now are such a huge part of our mental health and such a huge part of our lives that I can't wait to dig into this more.
Lovely. Well, welcome, Miss Angela. And now Miss Katrina Fitton.
Yes, my name is Katrina Fitton. I am the CEO and founder of New Day for You Financial, where I really help women entrepreneurs to be able to really fund their dreams. And so it's, I feel that's my calling to be able to help entrepreneurs to be able to get the funds they need in order to impact those that they're called to serve. And in addition to that, we also help coaches, entrepreneurs to be able to also get funding for their clients. So oftentimes there's a barrier sometimes for them to be able to work with them because of money. And so we step in and help entrepreneurs to be able to reach their revenue goals as well. So I am super excited to be here and to meet each and every one of you guys.
Oh, great. Thanks, ladies, for those fabulous introductions. So let's just jump into the conversation. So the first question I have is, what does the candidacy of the first African-American Indian woman signify for the political landscape in America? And whoever wants to take that, jump in and let's just start dialoguing.
I guess I'll jump in. I'll say, you can see that I am white as I can be, right? But I love diversity. I think I'm originally from Brazil. So I moved here. I don't know if you can hear my accent when I was.
Yes.
And I think a lot of the times when we talk about the American dream, being a foreigner coming here is understanding that everybody's included, right? And it is a land of diversity. I mean, when there every color, every religion. So to be able to go back onto that acceptance, I think is beautiful. My neighborhood is such a diverse neighborhood, and it's something that I love because it allows me and the people around me to see, okay, we actually have a lot in common. We may view things differently, but a lot of the times we actually want very similar things. And it teaches a lot about respect. So I think as, bringing diversity and understanding that it is beautiful to see the difference, to respect the difference, to acknowledge it and identify commonalities within them.
I love it. Anybody else want to take that question and expand on it?
Yeah, I just want to really just jump in and, Rochelle, I'm just real, right? And I just want to say, first of all, reason why I'm excited about it is because I really had gotten a bad taste, thinking about politics, all of the things around, the landscape of offices and things of that nature because of the, previous regime. There was so many things that happened during the pandemic, and it was just so many things that I had really just kind of turned off, right? And so with having this opportunity to have, Kamala to have the opportunity to really change the trajectory of where this nation was going, and to continue and further that agenda, I mean, it means everything. And not only that, but that she's a woman. What? Like history being made to it's just like, wow, I want to be able to be a part of being able to help that. I can say that I helped that happen, so that's really exciting. So
All right. Angela, do you have anything you want to say about that?
I just wanted to add that I have an 11-and-a-half-year-old daughter, and being able to explain to her that this isn't the first female candidate to run, but it's the first with this amazing, diverse background and heritage that she's bringing to the table. It's incredibly exciting to be able to experience this with her in mind.
I love it. She is from the Golden State of California. I am a Silicon Valley girl, so it's nice to see some diversity, and particularly women in politics that we haven't seen before. I think it's monumental, and I do believe that we women are generally the change agents to make the world a better place. You go back to the women's suffrage movement, and then fast forward to the 60s, where women actually had a right to do what they wanted to do with their bodies, and now that's being challenged. And so to see a woman up there that's confronting the good old boys, and really having an impact as she goes throughout the country, it's fabulous to see. We women need to come together. It's all about we women need to come together. We're not going to always agree with everybody with whether male or female, what they do in that high esteemed role that I wouldn't want for anything in the world. But to see a woman actually really have a bona fide chance, it's very, very invigorating. And I think it does give our young ladies, our little girls. I have a daughter, she's not little, but it gives our young ladies a different perspective, the ones that are growing up, that, yeah, maybe I can be president. One day maybe I can be president. And so I love that. It's just showing that opportunities that were not available for the four of us are now available for every girl, young lady, young woman, old woman, whatever you want to call it, in the United States. And it's just a beautiful thing to see. Now, I want to ask you guys this. How has her campaign addressed issues specifically related to women? And how might these priorities shift, particularly, within the national convention that they're holding, or they may have held? I'm not really sure because I've been on vacation. But what are your thoughts about that? Who wants to take that question first? Katrina, go.
Well, you know what? So the Democratic convention started on yesterday. I did look at the first, I think the middle part, and then I end up seeing the rest of it. My husband he stays very close to that, and just hearing really about from a medical standpoint. I want to kind of touch it from there, where she has been able to kind of go against the big pharma, right? And to really lower the prices of some of the medications, especially what seniors need. I think that's very, very important because I travel abroad and I see the wonderful health plans that they have in other countries, and how I wish that we would adopt some of those, ways that they do healthcare in other countries. And so I think that by having her in this office, it will help to be able to perhaps, get some momentum towards maybe continuing the trajectory around the healthcare topics, because these prices around medications, I don't know if you guys have family members who are having to, have medications on a normal basis, but it can get pretty expensive. Healthcare alone, man, it's really expensive. So that's something that's really dear to my heart. So I'm really looking forward to hear more about what's going to be done regarding that topic.
I mean, I agree with. I'm sorry, but
No,
if
you're good, Dr. Patricia.
if I can jump in, I mean, I do agree with that. I find that in working as a mental health counselor and working with insurance, there's still so much that needs to be done. There's very, as for my understanding, know that I don't work with, right, or have like legal knowledge of how insurance works. But as per my experience, I can say that when it comes to medications or procedures, a lot of the times there seems to be no gaps or no limitations on how much can be charged. So you see the difference between when you go out of network versus when you go in network, right? And the jumps in prices and what is a copay, a coinsurance, there's so much confusion surrounding that. Even when we're talking about the Affordable Care Act, which it was named Obamacare, it was the funniest thing that people will say, I don't like Obamacare, but I like the Affordable Care Act. And I'm like, it is the same thing. Talking about, the way of seeing things, narratives and perceptions, right? And we hear a lot about the great job that it is done on tail spinning something into something else. But having it being broken down into its small pieces and things being taken away from Obamacare has not allowed for it to sustain itself, to then cover all of the things that was supposed to cover, right? I'm passionate about this and I can speak on and on, but I agree with you. I do want to see what are the things that we can do to apply some boundaries and limitations to make it more affordable for everybody to be able to have healthcare. I think it should be not a luxury, but a need that everybody has the right to have.
It definitely is a need. I mean, I remember when I was in nursing school and I was working as a pharmacy tech. This was 36 years ago plus. And I would see these elderly people come in and they were charging their medications on their credit card. Now think of this is the late 80s. And some of these people were spending $1,000+ a month back then to get their medications. You think about how things have escalated in cost over the last 30, I'm going to just say 35 years. I bet you those same people, if they're living, probably not, would be spending $3,000 for that same medication. And so I think it is important that we address that. As a healthcare professional myself, as a registered nurse, I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And fortunately, you can't turn somebody away that presents to the emergency department for whatever they present for. But that bill that they're going to get that their insurance may not cover is going to be astronomical, which will, again, put them in another situation where they're economically poor because they can't afford to take good care of themselves because everything is so expensive. And so they're going to start neglecting things because they're just trying to survive. So I think it's huge. I love how they address that. There's a lot more need to be done with that. I'm not sure that's tackling a multi-trillion-dollar industry. And as we know, in America and anywhere, we have a sick healthcare system. We don't have a get well, get better healthcare system. And I can definitely speak because I'm a professional, been there, done that, seen all kinds of stuff. And so addressing that and starting to address the prices of pharmaceutical medications is a great step. There's a lot more to go. And I'm not saying it's not it's perfect. There's always things that need to be remedy, but it is a great start to see that they've attacked, I want to say attacked, but they've gone after some of those companies charging those astronomical prices. Now, what is this about? This next question is really about the barriers that Kamala Harris has faced in her political journey and how she's navigated them. Now, I don't know if you all know or are aware that she was a prosecutor in San Francisco. And she was a prosecutor in San Francisco and had a pretty successful, history with prosecuting stuff. And then she went on to become Attorney General of the state of California. And I'm not real happy about some of the stuff she did, particularly to people that look like me and Katrina. However, she was successful in navigating the whole political arena to get her to where she is today. What are your thoughts about her breaking those barriers and being that person that decided, you know what, I'm not going to follow the status quo. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it proudly. And then if I have to explain myself, I'll be able to do that. Who wants to? Angela, let's hear from you.
I really, thank you. I really think that her communication style is exactly what you just described, that she has a very unique communication style, and it has not gotten her all sunshine and rainbows during her tenure as the vice president, especially. It seems that there's been a lot of discussion about how she communicates and whether that is a normal way to communicate, or I don't know the word I'm looking for, the regular way, a standard way. She doesn't conform. And I think that is a really cool thing. I look forward to being able to see her record and continuing to improve her record and grow her record on things that she's able to do. But I think that what I love the most about her is her ability to stand out, like you said, to be her own person, and she's accountable. That is my absolute favorite thing about her, that she just is able to say, well, that didn't work for me, but here's what I'm going to do next. And she moves forward and continues. To me, that is a huge message to be able to send, not just to us awesome grownups that are trying to support her, but also to any female that is watching her and being able to see that ability to speak her mind, for sure.
And you know what? You made a good point. She may make mistakes. We all do, but we learn from our mistakes and move forward. Yeah, I did this. It wasn't right, or I had an error in judgment, or whatever the case may be. But she's moving forward. Some people get stuck in the rhetoric of, no, I don't make any mistakes. Everything I do is absolutely perfect. It's the other person's perception that I made a mistake.
Or they get defensive, right? They feel like they have to defend, or they
themselves,
have to,
right?
Yes.
And it's like, it's okay. We all make mistakes,
right.
But if we learn from those mistakes, that's the blessing in that whole making a mistake, because you learn how not to do something again the wrong way, right? And so it's very interesting. No one's perfect. That role that the presidents have, it's not perfect. You're not going to please everybody. You're not going to make decisions that everybody agrees upon, but really in the overall essence of it, what's best for the country. And I think Kamala really does have within her the mindset of doing what's best for the country, not what's best for me and my friends and my other wealthy cronies that I might hang out with. And it's really very interesting to see. So I'm loving it. Now, I want to ask this. How does her platform propose to unite a diverse nation, especially since we're in such a time of division? We got one candidate that's trying to divide the nation, and we got another candidate just speaking her truth. What are your thoughts behind that?
I think we need to talk to each other more. I think that there are a lot of misconceptions about what the other people think, right? So, you're on that side, so you think this way, and therefore you're not going to agree with me. So we talk at each other, but not to each other.
Right.
which I find that a lot, like in watching debates or conversations within Congress, you see a lot of that, right? There's no exchange of ideas as much as me talking to you my thoughts, and then you're not responding to it. You're just talking to me your thoughts. People want to be heard. So it can be infuriating at times when we're talking to someone, and in our minds, as they are talking to us, we're not paying attention. We're just rebuttaling to what we think they are saying. So we're actually not listening to them, and they're not listening to us in reverse. So to be able to, okay, the person is talking, I may not agree with you. Let me repeat what I heard from you and ask, like, is this what you said? Is this your argument? Because now the other person actually feels, okay, I was heard. Yes, this is my argument. So now I would like to do the same. In doing that, a lot of the times we may understand that we don't see everything the same way, but we also don't see everything opposite, right?
Yeah.
Speaking directly becomes really important. That's the what I'm talking about is reflecting, right? I reflect back to you so you feel heard, and then I ask that you please do the same for me.
Oh man, that's beautiful. Katrina, you have anything you want to add to that?
Man, I was just thinking that is so good because because I don't subscribe to, hey, I'm only a Democrat or a Republican. I don't really consider myself as being either.
Me either.
However, what I am want to hear about is the issues that are most important to me, right? And what they think about those things and what they want to accomplish with those things. So, me as a business person, as well as in the financial arena and industry, what does concern me is I want to make sure that the tax code is, towards business people, right? And some would think, well, that may be a little on the other side, right? And then, but at the same time, I want everybody to have an opportunity. I don't want just me as an entrepreneur only. I'm also concerned about my family. I'm also concerned about my culture. I'm also concerned about, it being balanced, right? And so I also look at it from a perspective of what are we doing to be able to close the wealth gap?
Right.
Right. So I'm looking at it from a lot of different ways. I know we've been trying to get, just talk about school loans, right? I just believe that it's almost like a scam with giving, people so much money, but then you're not going to allow them to have the opportunity to be able to pay them off because why? The interest continues to grow and what they're getting paid is not comparison to what they're able to afford. And then you can't really take it off of your credit. And it causes people to be in positions oftentimes where they're not able to be approved for things because of them maybe not paying for their loans. I know we had an opportunity to not pay. They pay their loans for a while during the pandemic, but now that's restarted. Now you have to start paying on it. So I've seen people where it's like they will never pay off their school loans.
Yeah, because the tuition's so expensive. I was one of those kids that I had to get student loans, and I got scholarships when I first went to college at 16. When I graduated, I wasn't making enough money to pay off the student loan. Here's the thing. I didn't even pay it. They took my taxes for literally 10 years so I could pay off that student loan, and it did hurt my credit. So I'm with you on that. It's incredible when it comes to that, and being able to manage our finances and being put in these positions where we have to default on a student loan because that higher education is so astronomically expensive that pretty soon only the elite people will be able to go to these colleges. So addressing that issue and addressing other issues like we're talking about with, healthcare and women and people of color and, immigrants and all that kind of stuff is very important. And so I'm like you, I'm not on one side or the other, because depending on what the situation is, it may benefit me for my business or it may benefit me for my culture. You know what I mean? And I think we all can speak that, agree with that. But it is very interesting. It's going to be interesting how things play out. I'm excited to see, what happens. But again, it's the dialogue that we women have that helps to enlighten other women that we don't all have to agree, but we should listen and respect the other person's point of view, because you never know that something they may say, you're so busy trying to be defensive, something they say may really resonate with you, but because you're so busy being defensive, that you don't hear the message. And the change, the beginning of the change is in the message. So
Can I say something about that?
yes.
So we're living in a world that the information can be diluted.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And you have whatever your source of your information is what you gather as a belief, right? And you have a story, and you're going by these beliefs and these stories and these articles and these whoever's speaking, saying whatever. And oftentimes no one's fact checking anymore. And so everybody has all these beliefs around things that are not even true, but
Yeah.
they believe it's true to
Mike, I need to drop that.
Yeah. There opinions and facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so much. I've been the fault of becoming defensive because of my frustration of what source did you get this from? What is the difference between an opinion and a fact, or understanding causation and correlation?
Right.
Not the same thing. As a professor, a lot of the times I'll make sure that I'm teaching my students, when you are speaking your opinion, you need to make sure, as I said, like, I am not an expert in legalities you need to let people know where your competencies lie. When you speak something with authority, well, then tell me the source, right? And differentiating between, with all due respect, social media can be a great place, but it is not the source of the facts that I will take. And most of the news today, when watching it, is so much about the opinion of the fact rather than the facts themselves, which can be of great influence to those listening. The concept of breaking news and these very alarmist or salacious statements to grab people's attentions, but I don't have the time to actually listen to the series or watch the article. So all that stays in my mind is that salacious or alarmist breaking news, which then I embellish in my mind with the other narratives that I am absorbing. So I could not agree with you more. I think there is such an importance in differentiating between information and misinformation, and that opinion is not fact.
Oh, girl, look, I wish I had if I had a real mic, I'd probably break it because I'd be dropping it all the time. But you said something, so I'm gonna share this with you. I was having a conversation with someone, and they fact checked me by telling me that on TikTok, right? I was like, what?
No.
On there say, my booty prints gold, whatever, on TikTok. What's on TikTok? I mean, that's not, what happened to going back to old school research and doing some, like you said, bringing real factual information. There's so much. I can go out there and say, you know what? If I put orange juice on my hair, it's going to grow down to my butt, and put that on TikTok or social media. And I will actually have people doing that, even though I may have put a weave in the back of my head, and have the hair look like it's going down. You know what I'm saying? So Dr. Patricia, bam, that's a mic drop, because we need to do more fact checking before we put our opinions out there that could definitely be miscued and miscued. Angela, do you have anything you want to add? Oh, Dr. Patricia, go ahead, girl.
I said, and recognize that they are opinions.
Yes.
Yes. I go back to what I talked about before, that I actually have triplet 11-and-a-half-year-olds, and explaining to them what is happening in our country is so difficult, that it is difficult to explain to them that things are tenuous at best, right? That we have so many decisions to make. And I don't want to be the one to say, you shouldn't like that candidate, you should like this candidate. But I try to explain to them why we, the grown-ups that are going to make decisions for this candidacy, why we like a certain candidate, why it's
Right.
important to us to have rights for everyone, to reduce the poverty level, those things that are so important to us, to have education for everyone, all
Right.
these things that we've already been talking about, that those things are so critical for us to be able to talk about. But they're getting bombarded, just like what Katrina and Dr. Patricia have said. They're getting bombarded with information, that they're hearing things that they have to discern whether they're accurate or not. And they look, because they're only 11, they look at all grown-ups as being authority figures. And surely
Right.
those people are telling them the truth. And so
Right.
it is a difficult time to try to explain why some grown-ups are telling the truth and some grown-ups are not. And some grown-ups mean what they say and some grown-ups don't. And so it is so critically important. And that message to them is just as important as it is to the rest of us grown-ups. They have to
Oh,
research. They have to understand what's a fact and what's not a fact. And not because I tell them it's a fact, but because they do the research and figure out what they're really listening to. It's so
I love
important.
it. I love it. You know, we could go on, but we had our time. So I'm going to give each of you ladies 30 seconds to say something that you would like the listeners, the viewers, all that are watching us now and that will be seeing us, something you want to say to them as we talk about this beautiful essence that we're in with this political climate and our two candidates for president. We'll start with you, Dr. Patricia. 30 seconds.
30 seconds, something really quick. Be mindful of what you type when you're searching for something. On NPR, once I heard a report that said the difference between during COVID data versus COVID truth. Subjective terminologies will bring subjective information. More objective terminology will bring more objective information.
Love it. Powerful. Angela.
Be careful how you're describing the way you feel to someone else, and use intention and awareness in the way that you are expressing yourself. Your own mental health and your own decisions are very important, as well as the other person that you're speaking to. Be mindful and be respectful of them as well.
Love it. And Katrina.
I just want to end it as is, just vote, and vote with intelligence. Meaning, don't just vote because of they're a woman. Don't just vote because of they're African American, Indian American. Don't vote just because they're Democrat. Vote with intelligence. Get
I
your
love it.
information and you vote your conviction, your conviction.
I love it. Thank you, ladies. Very nice conversation. I feel so blessed to have you as the panelists for this show today. I think we've had some very insightful, engaging, and really open and honest dialogue about, you know, our candidate, Kamala Harris. And I think it's in the context of what we're doing today that we have people watching us, and hopefully they will be able to take the wisdom that we shared within our conversation today and use it in their lives to make the right decision for them that speaks to their heart and soul when it comes to electing our next president of the United States. And to all of you watching, thank you so much. Please share this show. We have real conversations. We ain't gonna always agree, and that's okay, because we shouldn't always agree, because we're all different ladies. We all have different backgrounds. We have different experiences, but collectively within our conversation, you will always get nuggets of gold to help you, as I say, travel forward blissfully on your path to bliss. And so until next time, and subscribe to the show. If you like the show, you like what you're seeing, you like the dialogue, subscribe, follow us. Maybe you might want to be a panelist on the Bold Unstoppable Woman show, because it's open to us women. All you got to do is just reach out and say, yes, I want to be a panelist, and we will get you in the house. All right. Okay, off my soapbox. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, viewers. And hopefully you all have a fabulous day. And, you know, next month we're going to continue our dialogue about our president's presidential candidates, and it'll be a little bit different talking, but it's really important for us women to stay awake, alert, be respectful, and listen with our heart and soul to the other person's point of view. All right. Until next time. Bye, y'all.